So in this first video entry, we'll call it, for YouTube, and see what everything, snowball effects amalgamates into something maybe. I'm just going to talk about a couple things about thought process, about visualization, and about humanity. I think kind of about where we're going. The older I get, the more time I spend with my daughter, the more ups and downs I have, in relationships and with students and employees, and the goods and the bads, and the longer relationships and the more things grow. I become a little bit more enlightened, and I catch myself giving these mentoring talks to my students at the compound, which sounds like selfless promotion, but putting this on YouTube, we're a gym in Oceanside, we reach barely any demographic through these videos, and I don't think I'm going to have enough views to affect anybody anyway, at least for the time being, until people really start to catch on to what we're doing here and talking about. Maybe, just a state of mind. Some people care, some people don't. I've got a lot of friends that are like famous or whatever, so they'd want to stop by and maybe chit chat just because we have a good time, regardless of what we're doing when we have our environment. I like doing it in my house. I'm comfortable. I can take some notes down, so if you see me look down or something, it's not because I'm camera shy. It's because I'm just trying to hit on some key points and not make this drag out and make one of those podcast video cast episode things that's too long at first. Just get to the certain points, and then if it needs to be longer, it can be. You never know. So I guess the first thing that I'm going to talk about is just with like I said, with relationships and my coaches and my parents, and I have a twin sister, which gives me an interesting perspective from a woman's point of view of somebody my exact age, from my exact demographic and upbringing, to bounce things off her as well once in a while. So at this point in my life, some of the things that I've been through, I've just wanted to sit down in retrospect and put some things down. Maybe it's for me. Maybe it's only for me. Maybe it's for my students. Maybe it's for my friends, my family, my daughter. Heck. Or maybe it's for my, the few people that support me, and maybe more people will follow and support me based on some of the stuff that we discuss here. So let me grab some of these notes that I wanted to go over with you guys. So the first thing I kind of want to talk about was like with people is like hope. I think it's interesting because we have lost a lot of hope in each other. I used to too, until recently, and then that the more I become a father and a mentor and a coach and not so much as like a role model, but just more of an adult. You gotta turn that corner. And I read a lot more and look into things and a little bit more analytical. I realize that we've lost hope in each other. I mean, a lot of us have lost hope in ourselves, and we've looked completely, I think, to the wrong places. I think we've been judging each other for our differences when we're just human, and it sounds so generic, but we never think about that. We never really think, like, whether it's politics or morality, religion, financial state of being, whether it's the demographic where we live in, our environment, obviously plays a lot into it. Culturalism, the cultural, things, politics and entertainment, everything influences us, but we let it influence us. We've created this whole society in Earth, on Earth with humans, of just being wasteful. We waste. I myself included, in trying to work on that, but we waste and underappreciate and don't protect our organic resources in the land, in the trees, in the streams, in the river, or recreate more of it. which to me is a real tragedy. I mean, I think it's going to obviously eventually lead to our extinction. And that's a scary thought. And as humans, I think if we subconsciously know this because of what we're doing and creating and manifesting, I think that we then grip to like religion or some sort of just belief in ourselves or in something else to grip to because we're scared, because we're subconsciously scared that not only do we have this like, little pinging feeling in the back of our head about being scared of death. And so it almost prevents us from being so afraid of that we barely live. The age old, I'd rather a life with adventure and hardship than no adventure at all. That cliche really comes into play, but we never do anything about it. For the most part, a few of us do, and then we end up watching them on YouTube or watch them on a podcast or on the television. Most everything's done through our little phones today, but I think we've really neglected the real community of collective hope, like as humanity, like looking up, as corny as it is, into the cosmos, into the stars, and into something greater that's just expanding and letting ourselves expand. One thing that recently I've really realized has let me be real successful, I'll say, and adamantly successful and confident that I'm going to be successful with certain things that I do is letting go of what's going to happen if I do this or I do that or after I do this or that, and really slowing down and looking at everything in a big scope where it's like we are all going to die, myself included. That thought should actually empower us. For me, for instance, if I'm fighting in a cage, if it's in the UFC or Bellator or pro boxing, no matter where it is or what country it is, if I look and think to myself like, I'm going to die, so fuck it. You're going to die, so fuck it. And what happens is that you can just let go of all of that fear because eventually we're all going to meet the same demise. So if we can just think of that and just go, what's the worst that could happen? Like, it's definitely probably not that. And if that's the worst that could happen, that is literally the worst. And it's eventual anyway. So why do we avoid it? Why do we make up fantasies or stories? And then why do we argue about it, culturally and as a whole group of people? And we'll get more into that in future. But we need to let that go. We need to let that go, myself included. Maybe this will help me work on it. Other things that I wanted to go over in the first one is by letting that go, you'll increase your level of achievement, for sure. You'll for sure, increase your level of achievement. And then the last thing that I was going to say is, eventually we have to let go of this whole love and war and relationship and stuff and financial being and just working to get stuff and to earn stuff. And it's funny because I have some nice things and I enjoy those nice things. I like those things. But I don't like those things because they personally bring me happiness. I like those things because of the memories that I'm mapping with them. So I've been trying to get more nostalgic things, whether they're considered nice or high class or whatever they are. They're things that I care about, and we need to let that go, and I need to let that go myself too, and really just focus on like waking up inside, not being, scared of achieving or making fun of myself or somebody else, and just doing as good as I can do. And the last thing that I wanted to say is, we need to look at our own faults and just smile because it's ridiculous. our own faults are ridiculous, and we always point them out in each other. We need to grow together. We need to try to grow together, and we need to help each other as much as we can. And that's part of the snowball effect of everything. And in the future, little next episode excerpt, which will be in the next few days, for sure within a week. I'm going to have, stuff about politics and religion and conspiracy theories and sports and entertainment and social media. And I'm going to have people that I find interesting and that I think you guys will benefit from me finding them interesting, because I think you will symbiotically find them interesting as well. So we just talked today a little bit about my points of view, being comfortable in my home, taking some notes and letting it go. And I hope you people appreciated this. And a few days from now, we'll make some improvements, go to a different room in the house and see what we can talk about or who we can get to come talk to us about it for a couple minutes. Have a happy Thanksgiving.